To him that sits on the throne, to him that sits on the throne, to Yahweh that sits on the throne, be blessings forevermore. Be blessings Worthy is the Lamb. Hallelujah. Yeshua, the precious Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the Lamb. To receive honor, receive honor. To him that sits on the throne.
This night, Abba Yahweh, to strengthen them to go through the battle, Abba Yahweh, to let them know that everything is going to be all right, Abba Yahweh. Because, Abba Yahweh, there's nothing too impossible for you, Abba Yahweh. Strengthen those that need to be strengthened tonight, Abba Yahweh. Bring shalom, Abba Yahweh, rejoicing, Abba Yahweh, to that one, Abba Yahweh, that think there's no tikva, Abba Yahweh. But let them know, Abba Yahweh, your word go forth this evening, Abba Yahweh, that everything is going to be all right, that you will take them through the battle, Abba Yahweh. But it's just a little small battle that they encounter, Abba Yahweh. Because, Abba Yahweh, we know that you're the mighty Abba Yahweh. We know, Abba Yahweh, that you're the one that made the enemy, Abba Yahweh, that we got to encounter, Abba Yahweh. For, Abba Yahweh, you're greater, Abba Yahweh. And we told you, Abba Yahweh, this night, Abba Yahweh, that we'll never forget of the testimony, Abba Yahweh, of your precious Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. And that precious dome that was shedded for us, Abba Yahweh, to make us a special nation unto you, Abba Yahweh. Let us stand to our feet, nation. Precious Abba Yahweh, which is the Hashemayim. Kadosh is your Hashem, Abba Yahweh. Your Yakub to come. Your will be done. In earth, Abba Yahweh, as it is the Hashemayim. Give us this day our daily lesson. Forgive us our debt, Abba Yahweh, and we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, Abba Yahweh. For yours is the Malkut, the power, and the honor, Abba Yahweh. Forever, Abba Yahweh. So be it, Abba Yahweh. May it be fulfilled in the precious and mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. And we be fed the lesson, the bread of life, this night, Abba Yahweh, to strengthen us to go to the next Yom, Abba Yahweh. That you will us both, Abba Yahweh. And we shall will, Abba Yahweh. That your deeper will go to your nation this night, Abba Yahweh. Direct, Abba Yahweh. Your people, Abba Yahweh, to stand in the strength and narrow way, Abba Yahweh. In the precious and mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, I pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
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 We want to say greetings unto the nation. YisraYah'ale scattered abroad, we greet you all, Yahshua's mighty name. It has been some time since I stood here for Keetvay Emet. Matter of fact, it was on the 12th of June. Last time I spoke, and I began teaching on carrying the concerns and its elements and the composition, the makeup of carrying. It's one thing that is so powerful. There is nothing like words or a words. We're all developed by words. We are nurtured. The nourishment, it comes by the volume, the voluminous of words what Torah speaks, and that creates in us the kind of love that Yah can offer into it His pleasures. So we cannot be developed but by words. You do not know how to develop love by emotions. It is nurtured by nourishment. We must understand those purposes that are written in Torah. And I said to us, I want to bring out the 7 principles or 7 identifying markers of caring. But the one tonight is going to take all night for this one. So I recall on the last teaching in June that the last one I stopped at, it was consider, how we consider one another, and how that we always acknowledge each other. So that is what we stopped on. I will begin here tonight on the word nurture. What does it imply? What it means? And the composition of nurturing, and how we as a nation of people, what is it that gives us the nutrition that we need, that we may walk in the counsel of Almighty God and walk according to His will. I want to, because it is vitally important to us to understand words, their definitive, and the position in our language or any language, the construction of that and what it implies, what it is saying, the purpose, the magnitude of the word. And I believe we as a people, we have failed tremendously there. And the reason we have failed because we believe within ourselves we know everything. And it's just absolutely wrong, nation. As I study in my inquisitive manner, I learn so much in my ignorance. It makes me know, stop the playing, boys. Stop your clowning. It's not a place to play now. I don't like that. Makes me realize the value and the importance of what is in this book. And if you don't know what it means, how can you operate in that? You cannot, nation. And I want to begin here because this is one of the attributes, one of the qualities of caring. It is called nursing or nurturing, or one that is being nurtured by what the Torah speaks and what it commands of us. I will begin here. Let me define this word, to nurture, that we may understand. It is a word that implies, and I will demonstrate that throughout Torah in the Greekish and also in the language of our forefathers. It is vitally important because you understand the intricate composition. You understand that? Mother says no. Well, why? And the explanation of all of the ingredients of why my answer is no, then it causes one to understand the purpose. And when one understands the purpose, it will nurture their hearts. Okay, she had me in her mind, her thoughts, and as one grows, those words will nurture them. Those words will give them the strength that they need. But nurture is to feed, and that is one thing that God does. It is to feed and protect. When you nurture someone, and that's one of the compositions of caring. There's always a heart to nurture them, to teach, to protect, to show. And in that process, you're feeding them. A parent feed the parents, feed the child. Not just in the natural sense, but they impart unto them words of wisdom and understanding about life, that they may flourish beyond them, that they may teach their children. It is to support and always encourage. We think because one opposes us that is not encouraging, but that's wrong. There is nothing more encouraging than correction, because it will cause one to alter their ways and see where they're going wrong, and then they can correct that, and then they will see the results of that, and they will be very glad because of that. It is to support and encourage. It is a period of time. This is how it is defined. As during the period of time of training. It is a training to develop what? To foster, to bring about, to train, and to educate. That's what it's all about. That's what nurturing is. That is what a nurse does. That is what one does when one nurtures one, to train them, teach them, train them in the ways of Almighty. That is the composition of just that word. And there is a volume of Torah concerning just this word. If you understand the composition of its meaning, you can look in Torah and just look for one specific word, but you must draw out all the elements of that word. You must understand what it defines, what it means, the composition of that word, in order to realize the vitalness of that one word. It is to foster, it is to always train us. We must be trained. Parents, train up a child in the way they should walk. And when they are old, they will not depart. A child left to oneself will bring shame. And when we subordinate the authority of Yah, and we say, no one tells me, I'm a man, I'm a woman, then you're going to bring shame at the end result. You're going to bring shame upon you. So I want to give us the first primary example of this nurturing, and how Yah as our Abba, how He nurtures us, is found in Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 4. This is one of our duties unto Yah. We don't provoke Him, because He doesn't provoke us. Shaul says, and you fathers, provoke your children, provoke not your children to wrath, to resist, to fight. It doesn't mean that you don't correct them. He said, but bring them up in the nurture. You understand that this is how Yah brings us up. In His nurturing, in His support. He's the one that feeds us. And we feed from the body of YHWH HaMashiach. We eat from the living Torah of Yah. That's what we eat from, and that's how He feeds us. He said, but bring them up in the Peit Eo, bring them up in the nurture. Listen to this. I want to define this word that we may understand. It means this: instruction, or to instruct, which aims to increase virtue, the purity of one's heart, to develop them, that they will be sincere in all things. That is what it is. That is what nurture is. It was to train them, to teach them, that they may increase in virtue. The whole training and education of children, which relates to cultivating, this is what it's all about. the labor of the mind, and also the morality of a child. We are the children of Yah, so everything He trains us in, He develops us, that we will not defy what He commands us to do. That is what a father does. He doesn't provoke us to anger. He shows us our wrong, our deeds, our actions, and let us know it's not based upon this principle, it's not predicated, built upon the elements of what care is all about. And I know how we as a nation think. We all know and think that I am a very caring person, but there are tremendous attributes to caring. It's more than utilizing that verb, saying that I care. There is a tremendous reservoir of attributes that are associated with caring. You see how Yah cares? His caring is not like ours. He corrects, He judges, and that is what keeps us in the way of Yah with perfection. He says, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition, in the correction of Almighty Yah. They must be correct. He must correct us. We are not a nation of people without correction. We all, each of us, needs the correction of Yah consistently, continuously, and it is carried forth by pure ahava. That's why we love each other like He commands. We can speak forthright with honesty. We're not trying to deceive or lie to someone, and the only thing that intervenes and causes trouble, there is only one thing. I want to bring that forth later in the teaching. It is our emotions. That's what destroys us. Our emotions. This is what He commands us, because He does not provoke us to anger. Ezra, 3rd Ezra, he speaks here that Yah created a body for man, and I will suggest to you all, 3rd Ezra chapter 8, you read the entire chapter. It is a profound chapter. It brings about a tremendous amount of knowledge in that one chapter. But this is how, as he encounters Yah, 3rd Ezra chapter 8, verse 12. He speaks unto Yah that you brought it up in your sadiqa, righteousness. And this is how we are nurtured. This is how Yah shows His caring. And He says the body is what He is talking about. We are the body of YHWH. He put in perspective the body of man, the creation of Yah, and all of that. If you began at verse 1, you will see how this develops. He said, and nurtured it in your Torah. We're the body of YHWH. This is how He shows His care to us. This is how He nurtures us out of Torah. It's not our emotions, our feelings, but this is how He feeds us. This is how He keeps us strong. This is how He keeps us relevant, even before the world, that they may see the light, the ma'or, the happiness, the joy of Yahshua HaMashiach. And He nurtured it in your Torah. That's how we nurture ourselves in Torah. And there's one thing about the eating of that pure bread. The enemy, which is here, our own house, it keeps us out of this book. It doesn't want us to meditate or think or even read the book. And we do it for a moment for our own justification, to make us feel well. Well, this book will never justify you. It will always justify Him. And you being in Him, you will be justified, because His nurturing has taught you that this is the process of how we're going to be trained. You have to be trained. You have to. You can't make a soldier without training him. You must strip him of everything. And then you develop and nurture an attitude that is consistent with a great persistence of what the core values of whatever organization you're a part of. We are in the family of Yah, in YHWH. So he must strip down this varnish of our minds so we will understand the beginning and the nuances of caring, the small things, and how we nurture one another. It's almost like a mother, one talking to a child, and the child doesn't understand the grammatics of what he's saying, but they make them smile, make them happy. Child doesn't know what smiling is. A child doesn't know what happiness is. But it brings about that gleeful look, the smile on their faces. And they can't even talk. That is what Torah does. It brings all that. He nurtures us in his Torah. And then we must understand, listen, nation, to reform someone is to change the attitude, isn't it? It is a transformation. And he reformed it. This is how he reforms us with his judgment. You cannot be nurtured nor reformed without the mishpat or the mishpatim of Yah. Our ways must be judged, our attitude, everything about us. And there is one thing about us as a people, we get filled with ourselves. Because we are exceptional, we think highly of ourselves, we esteem me, but we don't esteem others. It's wrong. It's wrong. That's why we will never move to the plateau that Yah commands us, whereby we truly can lay hands on one another, where we have the prayer of Emunah to restore. That's why we'll never get there. That's why he tried to transform and reform us by judging. He judged us to let us know that that's not of Yah's nature. But Shlomo here, in the writings of wisdom, the book of wisdom, he confirmed one thing. And it is one thing about Yah, he doesn't nurture no one but his own. He nurtures no one or feed nourishment to no one. This care, he shows us his care by nourishing us. And Shlomo speaks profoundly here in wisdom, the book of Chokhmah, Wisdom chapter 3. And there is one verse I want to read. It is verse number 11. I will speak to you all. That's a wonderful chapter to read. Great inspiration of knowledge, understanding. This is what he says. For whosoever despises, who hates Yah's Chokhmah, wisdom, this is what wisdom does. And then he compounds this, wisdom 3 and 11. He said, for whosoever despises wisdom, and the tipukha, and the nurture, we are nurtured by instruction. We are nurtured by instruction. Musa, the counsel of Yah, the correction. And we despise one that speaks with wisdom, that identifies my ways, my attitude, and we reject any kind of instruction. We put a barrier up in our mind. There's a barrier there. That's what we do. We put a form that calls us to resist because we elevate ourselves highly. And we think highly of ourselves, and we know that we are beyond any kind of nurturing. I don't need that. I know who I am. That's wrong. Till the day I die, it is one thing about me. I don't care. I don't mind correction. Just make sure that your life and how you correct me is circumspectly according what you're going to correct me about. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with being wrong. because I'm wrong 99.9 plus 0.1. I'm wrong 100% of the time. Fact of the matter. And so this nurturing is a form of nursing. When a mother feeds the baby, she feeds the child the milk because not only is it from her bosom, but it derives from her heart. It draws the child, and it develops a compassion, a love that a bottle of milk will never develop. That's why we must desire and drink the milk of the sincerity of the message of YHWH HaMashiach. Milk is what makes calcium or cause the bones to be strong, our teeth, and those things that builds our skeleton. We can have skeletons in the closet, and your closet is not in your home, it's your closet here. It is the nachash that permeates our minds, it rules, it dominates through the spirit of arrogance, pride, and we're arrogant. It's wrong. We're not going into the kingdom. Yeah. Me sitting here, cream puffing, and telling you lies. I'm going to hell, and I deserve it. I deserve it. Fact of the matter. You can think, well, no, you're deceiving yourself. He said, for whosoever despises wisdom and the nurture of instruction, he is miserable. No one wants the nurture of instruction. The most so, it is the counsel that keeps us and corrects us. Hallelujah. Yah says that person is miserable and their tikva is in vain. It is short, it has no purpose at all. He says their labor, the way they act, the way they participate, it is unfruitful. You will see no fruit out of their labor. I don't want to live my life, and whatever my expiration day is, I want to look back and know that I've been faithful and done it all unto Yah. That's what I want. That I can sleep in the journey for the time until He calls my name, and it's a new name too. Nobody will know it. Only He knows it. Hallelujah. Their labor is unfruitful, and their works are useless and unprofitable. That's what it is. When one cares, when one has been nurtured to care. We're not going to be nurtured to care unless we're nurtured out of the Torah. Your ways, your laws have corrupted me. It has caused me not to feed on the soup care, to be attentive. It has caused me not to do that. And that is what nurturing is. It puts the breast in the child's mouth, whether one feels like it or not. Whether one is angry or upset, they still put the breast in the baby's mouth because the child needs the nurturing. And that's what we need today. We are children. And when we are left alone, we get crazy. When we are left alone, we get crazy. When you are left by yourself, you think highly of you, and you don't need nothing, so everything is offensive. I bless Yah. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. And I bless him as a young person, as a child growing up. He blessed me always to listen and to hear. He has always blessed me to do that. He has. He has. Let me tell you this little story quickly. When I was in the military, they were going to kick me out. I really didn't want to be in there, to be honest. But I knew that this was the only road I had for that time. And I will never forget, it was a captain. For some reason, he liked me. He had been wounded in Vietnam. He was a helicopter pilot. He had gotten shot in his buttocks, and he always walked with a limp. I recall him saying to me, Rob, you would ride with me back? He was a pilot of a helicopter. He said, but you must have your dog tags. Well, I didn't wear the dog tags, but I had to go before the commander of that concern, the battalion commander. He was a lieutenant. And I watched that captain. He stood up in his words for me. It altered everything, concepts and all. And he was a white boy. It altered everything. It changed my whole attitude. It caused me to participate and do things. And I was a volunteer after that. And you notice, it's one thing I noticed. Every job I would have volunteered for, it was the best job. And so that translated into me getting the best job in the battalion, in the company. I had the best job. I had the best jobs. I did. Those words that that captain spoke for me, it was the nurturing and the strength that I need. And he spoke, and because of his words, the colonel did not bar me from re-enlisting, although I wasn't going to re-enlist anyway. Period. Hear this, nation. This is what nursing is. You cannot be a practitioner of nursing without being faithful. The Torah calls the word, just like we say, oh man, oh man. It is O-A-W-O, man. M-A-N, oh man. Oh man, it is faithful. It is having an attitude that is persistent of carrying. It is that attitude that nurtures and nourishes. I want to show us an example of that here in B'mitzbar, Numbers. And one shows their support. And not only that, but it's confirmed in that individual because they are faithful and they foster that kind of motherly kindness. That's what they do. They're always reliable and they are trustworthy. Look at this instruction of this account here in B'mitzbar in chapter 11, verse 11. And Moshe said to Almighty Yahweh, wherefore have you afflicted your servant? Or have you put this heavy yoke and burden upon me? You have afflicted me, and why have I not found favor in your sight, that you laid this Massa, this burden? But the word M-A-W-S-A-W, Massa, Massa, it means that one carries that load. Listen, they carry the load with delight. That's why words, it is important to understand. When it comes to studying the Torah, I'm not lazy in that. I drive myself beyond my ability. I was talking to my friend in the back, and I was talking about the message I want to teach on the black Hebrew angry woman. And I began to just preach to him. And I said, you know what, son? It would just be a blessing if I could go in the tabernacle and teach it like that. Almost I need to keep me a recorder, and when I talk like that to me all the time. I don't need nothing before me, but that's the way I talk. And I preach like that all the time. It doesn't make me important because nobody hears me but me. And I began to say those things and began to speak. It developed with volume and all. I said, this is how I do it, son. I preach to myself like that all the time. And when I come in here, as I said to Ima Rafea, I was disappointed on Shabbat because that was not the way I wanted to teach that. And I'll spend hours this week here and there. Won't be like that next Shabbat. That's a fact. Look what it says. He said, you laid this Massa, this great load, but it's a delight. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Of all this people upon me, have I conceived all this people? Did I birth them? Am I responsible? Have I begotten them that you should say to me? That you should say to me, carry them in your bosom. I'm glad he says to me, carry your friend in your bosom. I'm glad he says to me, carry this child in your bosom. I'm glad he says to me, carry your friend in my bosom. Carry them in your hearts. That I should carry them in my bosom. That I should carry them in my bosom. As a nurse, an woman. That I must be faithful, consistent. I must feed them. I must care for them. That's what it implies. Mean a father bears the suckling child. Well, the father cannot give the child suckling, but the presence and the power of the father, the child draws from that. The hands on the child, the holding of the child draws from that. That's why brotherly love is so important. The Hava of Yah. It is consistent, it is real. It's not fake, nation. You can't say you care and you don't see the attributes of that. It's just not so. There is no one that cares the way I care. I care better than anyone. I'm so caring because I love everyone. I'm a filthy, flat-out liar. Unless that component of my life is nurtured and the nourishment of the Torah has taught me, I'm a delusional liar. I'm a fool. I'm full of my own conceit, lies, and my own corruption. And that's what we're full of. And that's just a fact. And we don't want to deal with it. We must, nation. We must. Should I be the old man, the one that nourished them and bear the suckling child to the land which you swore to our avats? I the one that should carry this load and care and be concerned and consider and to be faithful to them and to feed them. Am I the one? We are our brothers and sisters. Israel. We're the helper one unto another. I'd rather y'all kill me and I die if I cannot be faithful with consistency in my love and kindness and in my instruction of Musa as well. I'd rather die. I'd rather he take me out. I mean that. I mean that. Because I'd rather die than to be miserable. Because if anyone's forsake the instruction or the nurturing of Torah and instruction, they're miserable. I don't want to be miserable. Hallelujah. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to look miserable. Yah has given us the panacea of life. And everything we need is in the book. Hallelujah. Everything. We just don't take time to love this truth out of the book. And because we don't love it, we don't have time for it. Anyone you love, you have time for them. Hallelujah. You will take time for them. And that's just a fact. And so we must, as YisraYah'ale, bear the burdens. We must nurture one another. We must allow them to nourish from us or be nourished from us. And the only way you can do that, we must have this profound spirit of care. It is not what you call caring, concern about, faithful to, thoughtful about. That's not what you call caring. And it's just the fact of the matter. I'm talking to you out there. It makes no difference. I want to, let's go back to 3rd Ezra quickly. Hallelujah. 3rd Ezra chapter 2. This is what Yah has done. This is how he nourishes us from the nurse of life. Ezra chapter 2, verse 21. This is also an extremely beautiful chapter to read. You read what you want to, but you get enough from this place, whoever instructs us. If you would just read that and study that. Always, I can show you the notes when the ark came out. The last time, not the last time, but the time before that, Sakade, Yaramiya, I put together 20 messages over there. I can show you the notes. And I developed 3 of them. I have so many I don't know because I have taught through his discipline and his correction how to be attentive and to listen. Look what 3rd Ezra says. 3rd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 21. He says to us, care for the broken. We must care for those that are broken. Those that have not maturated to a strength, we must care for them. We must be concerned. That's what he says. Care for the broken and the weak. But no one thinks that I'm weak. You're the only strong one. But he said, care for those that have been shattered and broken. You care for those that are weak, dull. They have no disposition or arrogance like you, like me. So they have no knowledge of things. You must care for the weak. Don't ridicule anyone. Laugh not at the lame man to scorn. You don't mock a man. It is inability. You don't destroy one because their ability is not equated with yours. You don't become arrogant and speak down to one. You tell them the truth. You're wrong, brother. You can do more. There's no desire for you to go beyond that, because if it was, you will go beyond that. All you're going to do is just what you have to do. Can I say this? I don't live around it like this. I don't do what I have to do. And I have pains too. That's evil. Defend the main goals. That was one thing, and that has been one thing in my life I've never liked that. To see someone abuse and misuse people. Back in the day, if I saw you do it, I would step right in. You say, leave alone. I was big and strong then. Many times people would be intimidated. I would step right in. I'm too old now. And let the blind man, those that don't see the revelation of Yeshua, let the blind man have a vision of my splendor. By your kindness, your care, by the strength of your nurturing, how you deal with them, let the blind man, those that cannot see, have a vision. And those that are blind from truth, by looking and watching, they will have a vision. There was one call from, I talked to 2 individuals today, one from California and one from Washington State. I don't mince my words, YisraYah'ale. I don't mince them, it makes no difference. And the one from California, she had called the other day, and her question was, there anyone out here that you know that is teaching the way you're teaching and saying those kinds of things? We're not going into the kingdom without lollipop spirits. And that's just a fact. You can kid yourself and deceive you in your deception. You're not going into the kingdom. You're pure in your own eyes. It means nothing to God. I said, I don't know what out there. Period. I just talked with a sister. She lives in Washington State. Long way from you there. We must desire the sincerity, the sincere milk of this truth. It says, look what it says now. K-E-P, Shema. He said, keep the old man and the young man within your wall. Let the old man know. Hold up, brother. Let the old woman know. Come on, daughter, you can't be doing that. Let the young man know. Come on, brother, that's evil. Keep them within your walls of your wisdom, and keep them. He says, wheresoever you find the dead, those that are dead in the trespasses of their sins, take and bury them. That those that are so far removed their minds from Yah, you're not going to transform them. You're not going to change them. Because Yah is not trying to change them. Just go bury them. Bury them. He says, go and bury them. And I will give you. I will give you. I will give you. I will give you. I will give you the first place in my resurrection. What I call YisraYah'ale. You follow my instructions. You care for those things that I command you. I will give you the first place in my resurrection. He commands us to abide, live in quietness. We talk with volume, although we don't speak. Our attitude, our disposition, the way we position ourselves, the way we look, the way we place. We talk. He said, but be quiet. And abide and be quiet, O my people, because your rest will come. I know it's going to come. I'm going to wait until the change comes. And that's all I've got is to wait, nothing else. Hallelujah. And then he says, nourish, care, be faithful, feed, nourish your children. Oh, you TOV nurses. You that are TOV nurses. He says, nourish your children, oh you TOV nurse, and make sure your feet are established or establish their feet. That's what a TOV nurse does. When a man can't walk in the hospital, it is the nurses that will grab them and help them, regardless of whom they is, regardless of what one is, a male or female. And a TOV one, you will know, you will sense their attitude. The attitude is always the same. They never change. They never get all frosty at their mouth with you. That's what a TOV nurse is. And a TOV nurse will always nourish. When you feel down, the nurse, even their smile, I know I'm using a physical application. And they will come in, I will use their linguistic. Well, good morning, Mr. Dawid. How are you today? Oh, you look so much better. Was that your wife last night? I see why. And patients will say she was a very exceptional nurse. I liked her. Even when they didn't feel well, just her visible glow caused them to feel better. It's a shame we're in a predicament. Yah must correct us by judgment. That's the only way we're going to get it right. And we must feel and sense the judgment of Yah. Hallelujah. No one is getting by. I'm not getting away with my sins, my deception, my lies. I can hide it all I want to. But the house, the door will be open one day, and all of my filthiness is going to be revealed. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. is going to be revealed. Nourish your children. We are the children of YisraYah'ale. We are children. The children nourish one another. And so we as nurses, we should nourish the house of YisraYah'ale. Speak those things that will produce the strength and the witness. Yeshua HaMashiach. There's only one way. I want us to understand that. Listen to this, because I want to go to 1 Thessalonians. But I read to us in 3rd Ezra. You don't have to turn to 3rd Ezra. You got it already marked. 3rd Ezra 8:12. You brought it up with your righteousness. And the body of YisraYah'ale, us the sons of Yaakov, he has nourished us in your Torah, and you have reformed the process of the way we should go by judgment. That's what he said. Now let us read the account of Shaul here in 1 Thessalonians and see if these words have any resemblance of what 3rd Ezra said. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I will begin here at verse 4. He expressed unto us today, it was not by my commission or yours, the words that he proclaimed, that you have spoken them to him, but he says this, but as we were allowed of Almighty Yah to be put in trust with this message, that Yah trusts a man, that he put the Bizorach in his mouth for him to speak. He declared that emphatically, we are, although you may not like my look, my disposition may be foreign to you, he said, but we are put in charge of this. We were allowed of Almighty Yah to be put in trust with the Torah, the revelation, the witness of Yeshua HaMashiach. He says, it's even so as we speak. The way I talk, what I say, Yah put that in us to speak that. It was not by some intelligence of ourselves. It was the revealing of how corrupt we all were as he spoke to me on that road of Damascus. But we were put in trust with this message. Then he paused there. He said, even so as I speak. And he ponders. And he says, not as pleasing men. I'm not here to please you. I'm not here to speak in a language that will promote you. That's what he said. He said, not as pleasing men, but we're here to please you. Our lives are not a life of pretending to please men, but we're here to please Almighty Yahweh. He said, because Yah tries our Levi. He's the one that tries our hearts. He tries the intent. And so one will say something to you, and Yah will try you with that. Your response, your attitude. And that's just a fact. He tries the Levine. Then he informs them, let them know the man he is, for neither at any time. We use flattering, deception of lies. We use flattering words. Oh, you're so sweet. No, she's not sweet. He's a fine brother. No, he is not. He said, we did not use lies. Shekhan. We did not use flattering words. No, she looks so beautiful. No, she doesn't. She looks silly. She looks foolish. Oh man, you know you all know he's holding nothing but the lint in his pocket with his hands there. We didn't speak with flattering words, as you know. And then we did not wear a cloak, a covering. We did not try to hide ourselves or recluse ourselves from you. He said, neither a cloak of covetousness. We were not greedy. We were not liars. We did not come to steal. We did not come to take. He says, regardless of what you say, Yahweh is our witness. He is the one that witnessed for us. And he witnessed out of our mouths, and he witnessed unto you who we are. And then he says, we didn't even seek your support. There are folks that will listen, and they will never support. It's all right with me. I don't give some gimmick for their support, and I don't care if you don't like me. But it's amazing you will listen and hear. He said we didn't seek their support either from you. No one can say that we sought it from others. When we could have been burdensome to you as the Cilicium of YHWH. This is what he says. But we were gentle. Know what we think gentleness is. But there is a word in the Greek language. It is called epimos. It means, when we were gentle, it means say a word. Speak the word. And my child, you don't have to go in my house. Speak the word. Say the word. Say the word. That's what it implies. Say the word. And we were gentle. That doesn't mean he went, okay, well, she's sweet. No. He's nice. No, he isn't. He says to them, we will say a word for you. That's what it implies. That's my ignorance speaking. But it is his truth revealed. My ignorance is honest and tell you. Our arrogance is humorous. And we know it. I don't know it. I didn't know it until I began to research the word. And I'm a word teacher. That's what I do. But we were gentle among you, even as a proof us, even as a nurse cherishes her children. That's how we carried ourselves among you. There is nothing like a nurse that works in the maternity ward, that they cherish strangers, whether it's their child or someone else's. And they are always at the birth, the process of birth. And what little, and there are those that you will be surprised the attitude of those just even in that secular sense. And they make a lot of money too. But they get excited about every birth. And there's a care for every child. Makes no difference. Their skin complexion, the color, or the child. But there is a nursing, a cherishing. There's a care in them. There's a care in them. And they will grab the child and take it to the position or where it needs to be for those first few hours or days or time. That's what a nurse does. Always caring. And that is not only the attribute of caring, it always watches for and watch over. We don't want nobody to watch for us. And it's because we don't want to watch for nobody. We don't care. Let's get real. We care for everything that Yah doesn't care for. We care for everything and care for those things that Yah doesn't care for. That's just a fact. It's so different whether you love me or not. You didn't love YHWH. And I'm not a YHWH. No even close to Yahweh. So far removed from a man of that beauty and that significance. That's not what I'm saying. He told us man is lame or mean. Don't scorn him. Don't mock him. You don't do that. Don't elevate yourself. Wise men always listen. He hears the conclusion of the matter. There is no one like this Drophos, one that cares, one that is genuine, one that presents to that one the needs. And they're always faithful. And you ask yourself, are you faithful in all your honesty and everything you do? Just ask yourself that question. You don't have to ask about me. I'm talking to me, and I'm talking to me. And so my talking is talking to me, and talking to me. Is talking to me. You.
Hallelujah.
We got this convoluted idea of what things mean and the composition of things. Your foolishness and folly, your silly ways doesn't mean that you care. I want to make everybody happy. Well, I'm not trying to make everybody laugh and be happy. I'm not trying to do that. Just can make somebody smile today for what? And that's just a fact. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That a nurse is a trophos. It is when one nourishes one. And in that nourishing, they show them the great support. Oh, lay your head down on this pillow. And they feed them. That is what trophos is. They give them suck. They allow one to draw from their own hearts. Because their heart is so caring, full of compassion, they allow one to draw from that. We can be some cold mamas. And because one draws, what is the first thing you know when a child is being nourished by the parent and the beauty of their skin, and they begin to become fats because they're drinking the milk of love. Not a bottle with some chemicals that messes up your child's mind. Fool. But they draw from the breast of love, from the shirt, from the teeth, from the titty. That's why it's important, mothers, to teach your daughters, show them the beauty of motherhood and wifehood. You get crazy all you want to. You fathers your sons. Show them the beauty of Ahava, loving your wife like YHWH HaMashiach loved the assembly because he cared. What beauty that they may see the mother and the wife. That is her disposition as pure as what the book says. And they are nourished by that. There's some crazy people. And that's just the fact. Drophos. There is trophos and drephos. I want to show you one of the most profound actions. The drephos. Matitia. This is what caring is. This is what nurturing is. Matthew chapter 6. I want to read one verse. One verse there. And this ties in, this verse I'm about to read. This also ties in with 3rd Ezra 8:12. But I want to read this in Matitia. Chapter 6, verse 26. YHWH says, behold, The fowls of the air, they don't even sow. They don't have to go and dig. It's almost innate. Neither do they reap. All the dung litter they spread, they don't reap from that. Or a man's field, because he will kill them, poison the foods, that they can't eat his grains or his foods. He said, neither or nor gather in a barn. Yet, your heavenly Abba, he is the one that treffle. He feeds. He supports them. He feeds them. He nourishes them. He gives them succor. And that is what treffle is. Now if he does that for them, he nurtures them. He says, are you not much more better than they? As one would say in the days, I'm better than you. You can go that way. I'm not going that way. I'm better than that. I'm better than that. You want to go that road and act like that? I'm better than that. I'm not going to act like you. You do your thing that way, I'm better than that. I'm not going to do it. And that was the phraseology of my time. I'm better than that. Not the sense that I'm a better man than you, but I'm better than that. I'm better than that what you're doing. I'm not going to do it. So Yah is saying, don't you know you're better than that? He feeds them. And you tell me he will not trifle. He doesn't care for you. You can look at nature. You don't understand how he cares. His concern. Yet we see one another. And there is no preference that we nurture. Our actions will nurture. What we do, it will strengthen. How we do it will show care. And the way we position ourselves will show care. Preference, support. We care for every kind of violent thing. But when it comes to carrying those things that bless the bosom of Yah, we have disdain for that. There's just not much caring for that. This word is powerful. His word is that way. It's powerful. It's sharp. It is intended to cut. It's meant to cut us and show us how reprehensible I am. That's what it's meant to do. It's almost, we can tell. Let me use this analogy. It's almost like a 10-year-old boy telling his daddy what it takes and how to do it. It's almost like a 15-year-old gal telling her mother what it's going to take. And not realizing, you think as a 13-year-old, silly boy, you little silly gal, you don't know what it is to pay an electric bill. You're stupid and dumb. I will never let a 10-year-old child, I never would, tell me. And they think they have more understanding of matter. Don't you know that it is your father, young man, that is nurturing you, and he nourishes you, and he feeds you. I'm not talking about biological food. He feeds you with his presence, his love, his care, his consideration. He feeds you with his joy over you, his delight, his comfort. We are a crazy, nutty people. That's what we are. And that's just a fact. Because we don't want to deal with me. We don't want to deal with me. And you must deal with you. It's not him, it's me. It's not your brother and your sister. It's you, my friend. It's you. She, they, them made me, you're a liar. You made yourself do that. You made yourself do it because you're evil and you don't care. You don't know how to nurture anyone and you despise someone nurturing you.
Hallelujah.
It's almost when a child get old enough, they don't want no bottle, they want the soda pop. They don't want no milk. They throwing that down, they ain't sucking that. Give me something to drink. Give me the Kool-Aid. Give me the poppy pop, soda pop. They don't want that. Yeah! They throw a tantrum, and that's the way we is. That's the way we is. It's not caring nature. Because caring always nurture. Caring is always faithful. It lets nothing circumvent the care, the nurturing. Nothing. Nothing at all. Period. And that's the truth. We're going to, as a nation, there are going to be trials. We're going to have trials in this world. We're going to have trials with each other. We're going to be tested by each other. It's meant to be that way. The daughter tests the mother. The son tests the father. The cousin tests the cousin. And we get berserk behind that. Sister tests each other. But this is a word here in Gilead. It shows us the wisdom of Yah, His care, and when all circumstances seem as though that they have overtaken us, He's going to make sure there's a place of comfort whereby He's going to feed us. Revelation chapter 12 verse 6. It says, and the woman fled into the wilderness in the Bemidbar, in a place whereby there was nothing that would comfort her. Just like He brought YisraYah'ale into the Bemidbar. They murmured, they complained, they did everything. He fed them matter. What is this manna? And yet they still did the same thing. Yah says, and the woman, YisraYah'ale, that one that I have betrothed unto me, it's us. Where she has a place prepared by Yah. You're sure in that bosom. He has prepared Him for us to escape. Come, hide yourself in Him while the indignations pass away. And that's the only place. That's the only mind we can hide from all of the atrocities and the terror that try to come upon us. That they should be treful, that they should be fed. That He's going to feed them. He's going to support us, nation. He's going to feed us. He's going to give us suck. And He's going to make us fat on the sincere milk. He's going to develop that. And that's what His nurturing does. It makes us sincere. That's what care does. It makes us fat with love. That's what care does. It makes us draw from the friendship. That's what care does. That's what it does, nation. And the remedy and the process is in the book. You can't read one verse and think you got it because you don't. And look at who you is. We don't get it that way, and that's just a fact. A 10-year-old child doesn't understand the magnitude of life like a 50-year-old grandmother or grandpappy. They don't. And the only way they're going to have any concept of that, it must be taught. And they must train them, nourish them. They must have all the nourishings that are needed. And what are the nutrients of caring? It's love, it's concern, it's consideration, it's affection. That's what it's all about. It's not me being caught up in my juvenile, silly little boy ways. That's not what it's about. Those are not the activities or the actions of caring. There's a concern. There is a fattening of one another. Your presence, your words. crazy. This world is crazy. Ain't nothing about it that I like, nothing. I don't even like going out in it. I said to my email, I got so much to do tomorrow, I don't want to go out. I'll talk to Zakin Ramaya, see if he can make it in. I hate to put it on him. And then he take you and they'll go out and get the things. I thought I want to go. That's me. That's just a fact of the matter. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
With the sons of that man, Yaakov, the promise given unto that man. And yet out of that man there was a birth and an offering. And that offering out of that man produced that man. That was the heel holder and the supplanter. And out of that man produced a nation of people. This is what Yah speaks to us, the sons and daughters of Yaakov. Quickly, first Baruch. First Baruch. This is to the sons of Yaakov, as Yah speaks unto us. First of all, he lets us know, First Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1. First Baruch 4:1. He lets us know that this is the book, the Sefer, the scroll of the mitzvot, the commandments of Almighty Yahweh. And he lets us know, and the Torah that endures Leolam Via. It endures forever. There's a colon there to let us know he is emphatic in his speech, and he wants us to hear. Now, don't worry about what you just read, and let's hear the other part. And all those and all they that keep it shall come to life. You're not coming to life unless you keep the Torah, the commandments of Yah. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy, your brothers, your son, your grandmother. It makes no difference. And all that keep Shema, to guard it. Guard it in your mind. He said, those shall come to Hayil. They shall come to life. They shall experience YHWH HaMashiach. And there's a semicolon to let you know that there are consequences. Such as leave it, they're going to move. Mavis. They're going to die prematurely. They're going to die before their time. As we were always reminded in the early days, my friend in the back, as Shlomo says, be ye not given to much foolishness ever. And what die ye before your time? There are those that are dying before their time. But while the young die so young, don't be given to that. But there is something that is much more enriching. And although this is greatly enriching, but he says in verse 2, he said, turn you, O Yaakov. We are the Zerah of Yaakov. Turn you, O Yaakov, and take hold of the Torah. Let it be the correction of your life. Let it kill you. That's what the Torah did. If he didn't kill him, kill him! Well, let it kill you. Let it kill you. Let it destroy you. Let it destroy you. Let it bring nothing in me before the judgment, and that it may kill me. Kill me. And destroy that out of your heart. He says, take hold of it. He says, and you will walk in the presence of the light thereof. How it speaks, when it speaks, you walk in the Panim. Let it shine from your face. You walk in the presence of that light thereof, that you may be illuminated. And he says in verse 3, give not your honor to another. What is wrong, you're wrong. You don't justify wrong. You don't justify wrong, period. You're wrong. You're wrong. You don't give the integrity of what is right in you because someone is doing something wrong. You don't give your honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto you to a strange nation. Look what God has done for us. You don't sell that out. You don't sell out friendship of YisraYah'ale, those that you know and you have fought the battle with. You don't sell it out. He says this, listen, YisraYah'ale, happy are we for things that are pleasing to Yah are made known unto us. So caring is made known. We'll see in the conclusion of Baruch's speech. So what is necessary for us to know? He has to make it known unto you. You don't care like you think you care, man. You don't have that kind of caring in you. You think you do, but you don't. Then he says to us in verse 5, be of tough cheer, my people. You are the memorial of YisraYah'ale. This is what he says in verse 6. You were not sold to one nation. He says you were sold to the nations. That's plural. The goyim. You were sold to the nation. That's a comment. He says not for your destruction. Not to destroy you. Not for your destruction, but because you move Yah to anger, to off. You move Yah to wrath. You were delivered unto your enemies. For you provoked him that made you by, it says that, sacrificing offering, zabach, unto shadems, the demons and devils. We give our minds to the cesspool of darkness and hell, to our own evil ways. And your ways are evil. And our ways are evil as the gates of hell. And not to Yah. We have not made the offerings of the oblation, the shachar, the greater expression of our attitude of Torah unto Yah. He said, but you've done it for devils. That demon, that nachash in your mouth, you've done it for that. Then he says, verse 8, you have forgotten the everlasting Abba that brought you up, and that you have grieved Yerushalayim that has nursed you. Our mother is from above. Yerushalayim, the mother of all YisraYah'ale. She doesn't put her breasts in our mouths to strengthen lies. She nursed us. It is to bring the truth of Torah to viability in our lives and visibility, and that men will look upon us and see that our visage is the visage of YHWH HaMashiach. It says, and grieve that nurse you. A mother from above has nursed us. For when she saw the wrath of Yah coming upon you, she says, listen, Shema, hear, O you that dwell in Zion, in Yerushalayim. She's telling her children here, Yah has brought upon me great cries, great mourning for you. She says, for I saw the captivity of my sons and my daughters, which the everlasting Yah brought upon them. She said, I know who did this, and I know for the purpose. But it's one thing, as the old woman would say, you're going through your hard times, but I'm going to be there for you. She said, I know that the Abba brought it upon you. But then she says, with joy. joy I do nourish. This is how mother speaks. With joy I do kulla. I bear you. I support you. I contain you. I feed you. I strengthen you. You see, that's what caring is. That's what caring is. I guide you, and above all, I hold you in my bosom. I draw you tight to me and say, come close. You're cold as the ice water does. I don't want to be like that. Not water, I'm not going to be like that. No, not going to even happen in my house. You're cold. You have freons in your veins. The way I treat her will be the way I treat anyone. And that's a fact. The way she treats me, she's going to treat you that. She worth, and I wouldn't use the expression damn all night. She's not worth her own damn weight of care in prospect. How about that? She can clown like a jackass all she wants to. It's a fact. Pretend. You see, parents don't spank children out of just pure anger. It is to nourish and to discipline. Your child is left to run wild like we are, we're going to get crazy. And it's going to happen. And that's just a fact. It's a fact. You know, your little juvenile pristine ways, you think, well, I can't. Well, you don't, the world will grab them.
Yes.
How many, you know, how many, I cherish young people that want to walk in God's truth. I'm not going to do anything to debilitate them. Do all I can. Strengthen them. I'm getting on her today. I really wasn't getting on her. But she always cries when I ask her things. But that did not prevent her after all of that. I said, go get me some water or something. She come down and I can't run out of my office. I always run out. See you later, alligator. Bye. But there is always tears, many times. And I don't play. Let them not water the stuff right. And even at the end of all of that, they know. They understand. And I would tell them their work is sorry. It was piss poor. And I'm telling you that. I'll show you how to do it. We pretend we care. And we're so disingenuous and dishonest. We're liars. That's the fact of the matter. Liar. With joy, our mother YHWH says, there is where the Torah comes from. Her bosom, her breast. Here's where kindness comes from. The seventh Rukim come from her breast. And with joy I hula, I nourish them. She says, but I reprove them. That's why I sent them away with weeping and mourning. I didn't hold nothing back. But the mothers in the days will tell you, boy, you know what you're doing ain't not right. And it just breaks me heart, and you just know it ain't right, boy. and you sit there in all your stupid ways, you will sit there, you would take the chastising, you will be remorseful, and that man would me cry a little bit, and she ain't not speaking no English like you. She didn't know what English was, but English, it was well enough. You didn't know how to get up and leave. You didn't know how to get up and leave. You're trying to find a way to get from under that. You will go away more. And all she did was to nourish you. She said, boy, don't do that. Baby, don't do that. And you will look for a way out, but you couldn't get out. You could not. And it was all right when someone knocked on the door. You would get that, Mama, I know you did. And so you want to change the whole paradigm. I wasn't born yesterday, already. No, I wasn't. I wasn't born yesterday. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I want to read two things before I close. This is, oh yes. Let's move quickly. I want to read from 4th Maccabees. I started this teaching, and it's going to take me a while to finish, on the 7 attributes of character. And on tonight, I taught the last one in June on consider. And tonight, to nourish. That is one of the prominent aspects, one of the most prominent aspects of character. This is the 7 nourishing burach. And so I want us to be nourished by the 7 attributes of the 7 lights of Torah, the 7 pillars of Torah, and the wisdom of those pillars about the personality or the attributes of nourishment or carrying the 7. Look what it says in 4th Maccabees. I want to read this quickly. 4th Maccabees, concerning Eleazar, a man of Torah that taught his wife, his sons, that there's no reason to live but one. There's no life without Yah. I don't care what you get in life, how successful you think you is, it means nothing. Because you're going to die, and it's going to be left. You're going to lose it, your children, your mom and your daddy, they're going to die, and it's going to be left, or someone's going to take it all from you. That's just a fact. You brought nothing. It's a fact you're not taking anything. Let me move quickly. This is the voice of this mother that nourishes. She says in 4th Maccabees 16:1, if then a woman advance in years, she says, I'm old, 4th Maccabees 16:1, in years. She says that I'm the mother of 7 beautiful, perfect sons. She says, I suffered and I endured, seeing my children tortured to death. It must be admitted that devout reasoning is sovereign over emotion. If you have the reason of Torah, the commandments of Yah, it will supersede emotions. Whether they're on your side or whether they're not. You will not defy the Torah over emotions. Thus I have demonstrated not only that men have rule over their emotions, but also that a woman, a daughter of Zion, has despised the furies of the most ferocious atrocities of torture upon his son. The lion surrendering YHWH, they were not so savage. They were not savage. He said, nor was the raging fiery furnace of Mishael so intensely hot as were the innate parental love. That's what innate parental love is. And that's what parental care for each other is. There's no fire that can quench it. I don't like her, she did that. You despise her for that. You separate from me because of that. You don't want to talk to me. You are crazy and loony as a loony bird. I don't want to be around you. Can I say this to you all? I don't care. But one thing, I don't miss nobody. That doesn't miss me. That I've left from here, I don't miss them. And I'm just honest. I don't miss them. I'm glad that they're gone. That's the fact of the matter. I'm glad. I will put the challenge in my life of forget any of those. They have $1 million. It makes no difference. I'm happy. I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm hurting. I've got to get rid of these termites. I've got to finish up the job on the fencing, the design, so that I can feed the goats and keep them fat, make sure that my baby goaties live, and all of that. I've done a totally different design, and a friend in the back, Yosef, I cleaned the barn out, and I'm going to put some stuff in there so the babies can lay down. I got a place for my mama goatees, and put them in there so they can nourish their little babies. Place for them to eat. It's nice. I finish out tomorrow. You'll see. He says, there's nothing as this innate parental love. Inflamed as she saw her 7 sons tortured, all of them in such variety, different ways. But this is one thing that YHWH, she said, I still nourished them. I still fed them with my nursing ability. She said, but the mother quenches so many and such great emotions by the reason of Torah. You don't reason with the sensual, within your sensual ways. You must reason out of the Torah. And because the reasoning was devout upon the principles of Torah, it made no difference whether they are sons, her mama, her daddy, and even her husband, Elazia, the one that helped her. Consider this also, if this woman thought a mother had been faint-hearted, she would have mourned over them and perhaps spoken as this. This is how she would have spoken, as follows. Oh, how wretched am I, and many times unhappy. I'm so unhappy. See, that's how we talk. So unhappy. See, that's what one that doesn't possess the total reasoning, that's what they will say. Oh, we'll get to it. Nourish you are, don't worry. After bearing 7 children, I'm now the mother of none. You had 3 sons and 3 daughters. The daughters are whores, and the sons are nothing but drugheads, crack addicts, thieves, and liars. You bore 6, and now you don't even have one that is worth. Is her spit from the spitter of your mouth. You see that the mother did not reason with her love for children. They're wrong, they're evil, they're wicked. She didn't reason and allow her emotion. But that's mama, but mama is wicked. That's daddy, he's a dog of a dog. Sister, she's a whore. Brothers, they're dope heads and bombs. You see, you let your childish emotion reasons. She didn't allow that. This was a mother here, and that's the way YHWH, she's the mother. Well, she said, I still nurse it. But I did not take a backseat in the way of Yahweh, not one of them. Listen in verse 7. All 7 childbirths, all in vain. They were worthless. What did I garner from them? 7 profitless pregnancies. Fruitless nurturing. and wretched nursings. I put in them the nurture and the nurturing of Yah. But they all died being faithful. They were sustained, mama, by your nursing, your breast that fed them, that kept them. By the Torah of Elazar that taught you, you were faithful. You loved the man even in death. And you know you loved those sons. She says, verse 8, in vain my son, I endured the great agony, the pains for you, and the more grievous anxieties of your upbringing. I endured all of that. But you read the rest of the story and see the result, because she knew that they were trained right, and that's where she got a joy that she could die the death that was much more cruel than their deaths. You understand? Let me close here. Colossians. This is Shaul. There's only one place you're going to get nourishing from, and the nourishment comes from Harush, the head. Yah is the head of YHWH. YHWH is the head of man. The man is the head of woman. He is Harush. He's Harush. This is what Shaul says in Colossians chapter 2, verse 19. I want to close with this. And not holding the head, from which all the body is joined. The body by joints are bound, having nourishment, ministered and knitted together, and increased with increase of Yah. You cannot get nourishment but from the head. It comes or it develops the strength of carrying. We must allow this to be nourished, that we may be a mother and a father that bears nurturing and nourishment of YisraYah'ale. So our caring is not his caring, because our caring is all of the components of his caring. I'm going to stop there. May the riches of God rest upon you, all you that join our simple teaching. But I enjoyed simply the teaching tonight, and it refreshed me greatly. It really has. Bless you all, YisraYah'ale, YHWH, Baruch, and YHWH's mighty name be of great comfort. Don't be discouraged. I know we have missed some in Keetvay Emet, but I promise we won't miss anymore, right? Imarafia never likes it when we miss. But sometimes I just worn to the fit. But we won't, I promise. Right? You hold my word. YHWH makes you be encouraged, be strong, and be faithful in all things unto Yah. And if you're faithful unto Yah, nourished by the commandments of Yah in the Torah, you'll be faithful one with one with another. We love each other. We must love one another as we love ourselves. If you don't love you, you're going to love, your love is sporadic, it's false in faith. Somewhere we're getting old, all of us. You got to grow up and mature and realize that you're going to die and stop being a fool. You got to realize that. Period. You can't save daddy, you can't save son, daughter, you can't save mama, cousin, no one. You can't even save yourself. And you got to save yourself from this untoward generation.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think about me, because when I die, I won't know no one. And when they die, they won't know what they think about me. We are silly, we're crazy, and we just don't have the knowledge of Yah. YHWH, let us stand to our feet, turn toward YisraYah'ale. We were sold into all nations, all nations, all nations. Yah, Yahshua's name, we do barak, we told you for all things today, all things accomplished. bless and protect the Achim and YisraYah'ale. All of us who watch over us, touch our Shachin, bless him, strengthen him in his body, and all of us. This is our prayer, the Ima'im, the elders among us, the elderly daughters of Zion. We pray for them all, scattered throughout the earth, and our friend, and our enemies as well, Yah. We ask these blessings upon the nation, Yahshua's name. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Yabra. Hallelujah.
shall make its boast in Yahweh.
My soul shall make its boast in Yahweh. The humble shall hear and be glad. My soul shall make its boast in Yahweh. The humble shall hear and be glad. My soul shall make its boast in Yahweh. The humble shall hear and be glad. Be glad.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.